Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now we go into our conversation now with regards to the issue around agriculture. A lot has been said and has been done rather by the federal government in terms of how we can ensure food security. Don't forget the declaration of state of emergency by the federal government, but how far? So far, farmers are saying that, some Nigerians are saying that we're having some, price decline now because of harvest season. When the harvest season is over, what happened next? Let's put some context into this now. I'm being joined via phone by architect Kabir Ibrahim, is the president of Nigeria Agribusiness Group. He joins me via phone from Abuja here. Good morning, Malam Kabir.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We were meant to be with us in the studio, but because of the uncertainty regarding the protests, we were unable to make it down. Before we go into our conversation, tell us the situation within your area.
Well, where I am now, we don't have any protests going on, but we can't go out because we are fearful of what could be the follow-up to the protests that we had being dispersed with tear gas and blank bullets. So we are okay for now. We are quite comfortable here.
Okay, all right. All right, before we also go into our conversation, I want to ask as well. I understand that the issue around the AFAN is still in court, and it's not something we're going to discuss. Just to ask with regards to the position, just to get some clarity from you as one of the key member of that, as one of the key leader of that association.
Well, you see, the matter is before the Supreme Court. And everything about the judgment of the Court of Appeal has been transmitted to the Supreme Court, which in law means that the status quo ante remains. And I am still the president of All Farmers Association of Nigeria.
Okay, that is the position as we speak, just to get that clear.
That is the position. And it can be verified. We have a Supreme Court appeal number,
all right,
SC/CV/931/2025.
All right. It's okay. Moving on now to look at very critical issues in agriculture. A lot has happened in that sector, which is a sector that you play in. A few days ago, we celebrated World Food Day all across Nigeria. Talk to us about what do you think, whether government is doing enough to achieve a success in this very important sector?
Well, there is a multitude of effort from different directions and from different MDAs with cross-cutting issues with agriculture that we are hopeful that at the end of the day, we will get as close as possible to food sufficiency and food security in Nigeria. The most important situation is that we have committed to keying into the Kampala Declaration, which will effectively start from 1st of January. It is predicated on making a few staples, chosen staples in the country, scaling them to make sure that all the value chains are properly addressed and people make brisk agribusiness in them, feed themselves, feed others within Africa. And so we will have food sufficiency in our country and many parts of Africa. Now, one very important thing that happened last week on the 14th of this month was the launching of the National Farmers Soil Health Card or scheme, which will make it possible for a farmer in a given location to know the kind of fertilizer to put on the soil and on the crop that he or she is planting. That way they will spend less on buying generic fertilizers because, you know, the cost of inputs is a very strong threat factor to the attainment of food security, especially at these times when our naira is very weak in the market. And Nigeria also has, together with FAO and the German corporation, signed up on what is called a hand-in-hand investment partnership, which will generate $3.14 billion, 1.75 of which will be contributed by the FAO and the German corporation. 1.49 of it will be contributed by the Nigerian government, the private sector in Nigeria, general businesses, and even the public sector.
All right.
Or general public. So we have seen a lot of progress. We can attest to the fact that some prices are really down. Yes, the mention of the harvest period is also germane. Every year since the beginning of agricultural production, we had experienced what is called a harvest price, a little intervention from the CBN through the Anko Borough from 2016 to part of 2024 had been inflation all the way. But because of the efforts of this administration, when it opened a short window of 180 days with tariff-free, incentives for importation of some critical staple foods, we have begun to experience a lot of, coming down of inflation rate. Now the food inflation is at about 16%. Mind you, a few months ago, it was almost 30%. So as far as we are concerned, there is a good effort in the right direction. But what we want is another effort, a similar effort on the issue of the cost of inputs. Because when you keep the cost of inputs low, definitely the food prices will remain low. But if you don't do anything about that, this effect may be very, very temporary because it's accentuated by the harvest price. But once the farmers are able to buy inputs at a reasonable cost, they will now consider that in the new prices of what they sell out to the general public. So we will have a continuous degradation of the inflation rate. We envisage that it will be in the lower tens, and that will be very good for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Indeed. It is also, you're very correct, but you made mention about the launching a few days ago, which you spoke about extensively with regards to, farmer being able to identify fertilizer that are suitable for their crops. In terms of awareness, how much have we done in that regard, knowing that most of our farmers are not really in the urban centers?
No, it is not in Abuja. There is nothing like agriculture, full agriculture in Abuja. In fact, all our AFA leaders from all the states of the Federation were there at the banquet hall on 24th. It was anchored by the Minister of State of Agriculture. It has got a lot of publicity, and all our farmers are involved. The farmer leaders were in the hotel, paid for by the government for 3 days. So, and that information is cascading down to the 774 local government areas where agriculture actually takes place. And every farmer is aware of fertilizer. I do not underestimate what the farmer knows about fertilizer in Nigeria. So there is a lot of publicity on it. Mind you, we have been working on crop-specific and soil-specific fertilizers for many years through the IFDC and even the government. But now the actualizing it is the watershed of the program. It is now in the public domain that the blenders will formulate fertilizers that are crop-specific, which has already begun even before the launch. Maize, for instance, uses 27-13-13 NPK, and is what has been used in the nuts AP for all of our farmers who participated in it. So this is work in progress. It's already happening, and the farmers are going to be very happy for it. There will be a high attraction of investments in agriculture because the more you have these things in public domain, the more the investors who do processing get it, and the more Nigeria becomes food sufficient in this regard. And Africa as a whole will be better off for it, because whether we like it or not, Nigeria remains a food basket for all of Africa. And after, we are going to play the role that we are supposed to play as a giant of Africa. So I have every hope that things will get better.
All right. Earlier in our conversation, you talked about the, before we had a AGOA declaration, now we're having a Kampala now. Talk to us, because it's not enough to make a declaration. It's the implementation that is indeed very, very important. Are we going to have...
Well, I want to correct you. We had Maputo, we had Malabo, now we have Kampala. These are under CADEP, and they are what we are talking about, and they are truly African. And implementation is key. Implementation is always key to any policy. From the agribusiness group, where you mentioned that I'm president, we are concerned with policy implementation. We have looked at 3 policies already. We have put a toolkit, we have a template. We are sure that with the 3 policies we have given to government will be useful if they are implemented. So we are calling on the government at every part of the way that implementation of these policies is the most important consideration in the attainment of food security. So we implore the government to really implement these policies transparently.
All right. What I'm saying is that we talk about the Maputo, we talk about the Malabo, and now we're having Kampala. If you want to measure the implementation of some of these projects, look at Maputo, look at Malabo now, before we even go to the issue of Kampala now. In terms of implementation, if you have to grade it over 100%, what will you give it?
Well, there are many facets of it, but let me educate you a little bit. Most people, in the public domain are talking of the budgetary allocation, because you are looking at the document, what says budget for Ministry of Agriculture only. We are not adding the donor interventions, the special windows opened, and all that. By and large, Nigeria is progressing into the 10% that was mentioned in the beginning. There are some states in Nigeria take Kaduna for instance. For this last budget or this current budget, it has got 12% implementation of the budget. So it's work in progress in Nigeria. But the thing is that, our population is increasing.
12 over 100. 12 over 100.
I would like to say that we can safely assume 50%.
Okay. All right. Let's also look at the issue of fertilizer. You made mention about NPK. There's also organic fertilizer. Which do you think is preferable for farmers?
There is no preferable one. It's a choice. If you go to the United States, for instance, you can eat organic food or eat inorganic. So it depends on you. But it is cheaper to use organic fertilizer, but it is not sufficient for the requirements of Nigeria's agri-food sector. Mostly people look at compost, look at droppings from animals and some birds. But that is, when you aggregate it, is not sufficient for the Nigerian farmers. And so that's why you have a choice. Those people who want to do organic agriculture or organic production will use that. And now, because of the cost of fertilizers, most of the farmers we know are using the organic fertilizer, but that is not enough. You must use inorganic fertilizers because you accentuate your yield through them. That coupled with the type you use on the soil, you get better results. It's for higher yield that we're talking of crop-specific and soil-specific fertilizers. So it is neither here nor there. Anybody who talks about preference for organic or inorganic is talking from a point of view of theory. In practice, you are forced to use organic fertilizer when you cannot afford inorganic. And the quantity of inorganic fertilizer available to Nigerians is not adequate to cater for the needs of the farmers.
All right. Let's also talk about the topography. If you're from the southern Nigeria, the kind of topography you have is different. If you move to the north,
it is not topography. It is the ecological zones we are talking about. So yes, for various ecological regions, there are crops that thrive, and the farmers are educated. And even this is not even from modern science, from common sense. The Nigerian farmers have been used to their ecologies, and they have planted from there, and using that at the background.
All right, so
and that is an area that requires intense studies and scrutiny, which you don't have the capacity to do. So let us restrict ourselves to the ecological formations in the various 6 geopolitical zones that we have. We have the staples in them, and all we need to do is to accentuate the production of those staples. That is how those people will get food security. I will give you the example of Southeast, for instance. If you say you are only producing rice and maize in that region, people out there will tell you that there is no food security there, because what is preferred by them is cassava, yam, and other crops, swallow. So they don't think rice, for instance, is food. It's not staple there.
Indeed, different zones, like you mentioned, different ecological zones with different, kind of crop that's suitable. But let's also look at the Agri Show, which is coming up next month. What are some of the, what are your expectations? You are one of those planning that.
I am not one of those. I'm the BOT chair of NAFAN, which organizes agricultural show in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and AFAN and all farmers of Nigeria. What we expect is for the farmers to showcase what they are able to do, for manufacturers of agricultural equipment to come and showcase them, and scientists who do research to come and show what their research findings can bring about. And the people who want to shop can come in to buy fertilizers, to borrow technological breakthroughs and innovations. So it's it's a gathering of people who will benefit from each other, and there will be B2B meetings between people who invest in agribusiness. So it's a gamut of it, and this is the 17th edition. We are not just starting. The one coming between the 24th and 28th of November is going to be the 17th edition, and you are all invited to come there. Your paper has always been represented there. We want the TV crew to come there, like NTA channels and the AIT that have always been there.
Alhaji, that's free publicity there that you enjoy there.
Of course. Are you paying me for this interview? So you should do the publicity also.
Let's talk about the marketing and economic opportunities in this show.
They are immense. They are immense, because when you bring out something that you have done, take chicken, for instance. If you are able to showcase a cock that weighs maybe, let's say, 50 kg or 30 kg or 20 kg, it will be the sign and so of all eyes. And people will want to see your modalities, your modus operandi of getting them. And you can even sell it off there. You can sell your bull there. You can sell fish there. You can do many things. So marketing will be enhanced. And then people can advertise so that other people will meet them in their locations and all that. And then so also with the equipment, whether they are tractors, handheld equipment, combined harvesters, or any equipment. And then good science, good technologies and innovations will also be on display, and people can key into them and improve or scale their productivity. So it's a very, very vital thing, a very important component of agriculture. We used to attend the Royal Agricultural Show in England. It ran for 161 years. We always went there. It took place in the Midlands, around Coventry. We were always going there. We borrowed a lift from there to come and do it here. Our people pay a lot of money to go to Hanover, go to many countries to watch agricultural shows. We are inviting everybody to come to Nigeria, come to that permanent side of our showground to see what we can offer and to advise us to improve. This is Nigeria in the making. Nigeria's agriculture is very, very important. It is going to take center stage in the world.
All right.
Africa is the home of food security for the universe.
Indeed, we have a lot to do in Africa. But what about gender inclusivity? I mean, we have a lot of women who are into farming, but when it comes to this level, we rarely see them. How much are you doing?
No, you haven't been to our agri show. Every year since we began, there is always a conference showing women participating in agriculture and producing so many things. We have a whole day, a workshop for youth and women. If you come there, our conference hall is always available. There is Dr. Inkiru who does it, and she has been doing a marvelous job there, and so many of the women in agriculture benefit from it. So please come there and see it for yourself so that we don't have this kind of rhetoric going on. In fact, I can tell you for free that in most regions of Nigeria, it is women that do the production in agriculture. So we don't forget them at all. In some places, the men just drink palm wine while the women till the land and work there on the farm. So if you give any woman a processing place that you are doing, you are sure that the woman will do a very great job on it, and we are mindful of that. We are in agriculture as a business, not noise making.
Indeed.
Even I learned poultry production from my wife. She was doing it at the backyard. I began doing it from there. I became the chairman of my state chapter and the president of Poultry Association of Nigeria. And now I am even doing processing, adding value to egg, for instance, powdered egg and liquid egg.
That's interesting.
So women are very important and are integral part of our agriculture, and we will never do anything to show that they are doing any less than the men.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting to know. Finally, now as we begin to wrap up now, Benue State, like you know, is known as the food basket of Nigeria, where a lot of food is being produced there. Most especially fruits. Only recently, a fruit processing factory was established, or revived rather, in Makurdi. What we had before was most of the fruit produced in those parts of the country usually going to waste, but now we are adding value to all of these things. What do you think other parts of the country should do, especially when you have to look at the state taking advantage of crop they have a comparative advantage over?
You see, I told you from the onset that it is agriculture is a rural vocation. The Benue State definitely stands out to be the food basket of Nigeria. And I'm happy to learn that there is a revival of that fruit processing factory. I hope you didn't mention the fruit. Is it orange?
Orange.
Is it mango?
Orange.
And I made a tour of Benue State some time ago at the beginning of this insurgency, and I have seen it myself, that some of these ripen on the tree and fall and get bad on the ground, and that is not acceptable in Nigeria, because we can add value to it by making juices and all that, and even drying off the pericarp and all that. There are many things that are usable there. So the clarion call that I want to make to Nigerians is that we should do processing, we should do value addition, we should never sell anything in its raw form or in its primary form. That is how other countries who are food secure and rich got to where they are today. Because if you don't add value, you are doing the business for another person. Take, for instance, sesame. You export sesame, they bring it back here and you pay 10 times what you sell. You take cocoa, for instance, you sell cocoa in its primary form and you buy chocolates, which will cost a lot more than the cocoa itself. Many other things are there. In fact, I'm happy with the level of processing that is taking place now. It's not only in Benue, it's in all other places. If you go to Katsina, for instance, there is somebody who is adding value to corn. They are selling corn flour now, and they have a very large factory that has a very large capacity.
All right.
So we will reduce the post-harvest loss, which you have referred to, that these things go bad because they are not processed and they have short shelf life.
All right. Thank you so much, Architect Kabir Ibrahim, President, Nigeria Agribusiness Group. We much appreciate your time on Business Daily today. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Akogu. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so have a nice day. With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again here tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogu.